Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about an unfortunate incident that has taken place in the Bengaluru, the capital city of Karnataka, where 11 people have died in the stampede that followed the Royal Challengers Bangalore's IPL's trophy win after almost 18 years of gap, we can say. So basically, we try to understand the context. As you can see that on the Wednesday afternoon, we have an unfortunate stampede in Bengaluru, which occurred as thousands of people from all across the city, and not in the city but across the state, we can say, have gathered to celebrate the victory of the Royal Challengers Bangalore, the team that is representing Bangalore in the IPL Premier League. Now, an apparent lack of planning is what many of the experts are arguing can be considered as a reason behind this particular incident. There was apparent lack of planning both from the organizers, that is the RCB organizers, as well as from the government agencies, and underestimation of the number of fans. For example, government says that they had estimated number of people who might gather around the stadium to be in the 35,000 to 50,000 range, but actual number of people government had said that, or who came out to celebrate IPL victory, turned out to be even much more larger. Almost 200,000 people were around that particular area, and confusion over the free passes available to allow entry into the Chinnaswamy stadium as such. As a result of this, when suddenly a gate of the stadium is opened up, many people from the crowd began to rush toward this gate to enter in the stadium. These consist of people who both had the passes to enter the stadium, and even those people who do not have passes, they thought that in the crowd they can enter and take a glance at the their favorite cricket players, as well as the entire event that was organized in the stadium as such. So as a result of this sudden movement of the crowd toward a same area, it resulted into unfortunate death of 11 people, and 47 people were also injured who had been taken to the hospital as such. Now, if you look at the reason behind gathering of such a huge number of crowd, so we know that 2 days back RCB has won IPL trophy, and as a result of this, on Wednesday morning, the management team of the RCB had declared that they will hold a victory parade. This victory parade will take place in an open bus because then everyone around in the crowd will be able to see and look and greet their favorite cricket players as such. This victory parade was to be organized between Vidhan Saudha to the stadium, M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, that you have in Bangalore. Vidhan Saudha is the seat of legislative assembly, we can say. So almost 1 kilometer stretch you have between Vidhan Saudha to stadium, and it is in this stretch where the team management has programmed or basically proposed to hold a victory parade as such. As a result of this announcement, many people began to throng toward this particular stretch of the road. However, by looking at the number of the crowd, the density of crowd, at 11:56 a.m., somewhere near afternoon on the Wednesday, police department then informed and announced that there would be no victory parade. Now, interestingly, it seems that this message was not received by many people who still were in firm belief that there will be a victory day or victory parade as such. Now, by afternoon, thousands had gathered around the Vidhan Saudha, where Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah was scheduled to felicitate the team. So, this is how and what we can understand is the reason behind the gathering of such a crowd. Now, if you look at the behavior of the crowd, as per the police data, it is stated that by 3 p.m. on Wednesday, around 50,000 people were within 1 kilometer radius of that particular region where victory parade was to be organized, and the number was only rising. The crowd expected that after the felicitation, the open bus would head toward the stadium. So many people began to move toward the stadium, where they thought that they would catch a glimpse of the cricket star, and especially this consists of those people in the crowd who did not have passes to enter the stadium as such. So they thought that the best way or best suitable or most suitable place for them to look at the cricket stars and cricket players would be near the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium gate as such. And these people, it seems that, as I told you, they were unaware that victory parade had been cancelled. That means cricket team members would not go in the open bus toward this particular region as such. So devoid of this information, they began to move toward the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, and it is during this time you see the occurrence of tragedy. It is believed that around 4 p.m. suddenly you have the opening of gate number 3 of the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, and the number of people were so huge, the crowd was so big, that suddenly these all people began to move toward this open gate, and that led to, basically, I told you, both kind of people. You have ticket holders as well as those people without tickets. They attempted to swarm into the premises. It is during this time Many people fell on the ground, and that resulted into a situation of stampede where they were not able to stand up, where they were not able to come out from within the crowd as such. Now, as a result of this entire incident, Karnataka government has responded by saying that it is a failure in their part as they failed to underestimate the number of people who would turn up for the celebration, as the total capacity of the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium is about 35,000 people. Government and the team managers as well as organizations had believed that number of people coming to this particular venue will be about 35,000 and few more people can be there. That means around 50,000 people. That is what their guess. But actually, there are around 2 to 3 lakh people on the street, including 1 lakh just near the Vidhan Sabha, the Central Legislative Assembly of Karnataka as such. We, or the KSCA, that is Karnataka State Cricket Authority, did not expect such a huge crowd. That is a statement that has been given by K. Siddaramaiah, who is the Chief Minister of the Karnataka as such. The stadium capacity is around 35,000. Government has promised compensation of all those people. 11 people, as I told you, have lost their life unfortunately. So for each of those people and family, a compensation of rupees 10 lakh has been announced by the state government as such. Also, Prime Minister of India had taken cognizance of this particular issue, and he has stated that the mishap in Bangalore is absolutely heart-rending. In this tragic hour, my thoughts are with all those who have lost their loved one. I pray that those who are injured have speedy recoveries. That is the message coming from the Prime Minister of India, PMO. Now, if we try to understand this entire situation, we have discussed that this tragedy can be considered as an outcome of stampede. So first, let us try to understand what does the term itself mean. Now, stampede generally is a result of crowd mismanagement. And in this particular case, or any cases of stampede, what we see is a crowd of people, a large number of people began to move in the same direction at the same time. And some may collide and basically fall down, and then they began to pile up against or on top of each other, and this result into the death. So basically, this is a general pattern we see in any kind of stampede. Many times stampede also occurs due to rumor mongering, where people feel that some kind of disaster has struck. For example, in the fair, many times there is a rumor of fire and people began to run away from the particular area, that also result in such kind of mishap as such. Now, interestingly, if we talk about the cause of death, it is not only that being in crowd or falling down is the cause of death. Basically, in the case of stampede, what we see is that it is not trampling. Trampling means it's not that some person has moved over your body or moved above your body that has caused death, but the suffocation that results by being piled up under the crowd or by number of people is what results in the death as such. Loss of consciousness also has been seen in many of the people who died as a result of this stampede, and many times compressive or restrictive asphyxia. Asphyxia means, for example, if someone has fallen down and above them there are many people who have piled up, so in this case they are not able to properly breathe, and as they are not able to properly breathe, basically it is called as compressive or restrictive asphyxia, that again results into suffocation, and that can cause loss of consciousness, which if persists for longer duration can cause brain trauma, brain injury, and ultimately end death as such. Now, as we know that India is one of the most population dense countries of the world, India today is also the country with highest number of population. So stampede in India has occurred frequently, and if you look at the data since 2001, almost every year we can see there are certain death that has occurred as a result of a stampede. In some year you can see the number of death is quite high when a stampede has taken place in a large fair. For example, in recently organized Kumbh Mela, Mahakumbh Mela that you have in UP, also we have seen similar kind of situation, stampede like situation, where several people have lost their life as such. So as per the National Crime Record Bureau data, NCRB data, for 2015, cities over 380 deaths in a stampede are located in Jharkhand, but media has not reported such a high toll for stampedes for that particular year as well. So many times the stampede related deaths are also not reported or are reported in different manner, different way as such. Now, if you look at some of the most notable cases, for example, in year 2013, you have a stampede that took place in the Allahabad railway station, it is called as Prayagraj, which led to loss of 36 people. Similarly, we talk about 1997, you have fire that has led to loss of 204 people in the Odisha region. If you look at 52 people died in the Sabrimala Kerala stampede of 1999. In 2008, you have 249 people who lost their life due to a stampede that took place in Chamunda Devi temple in Jodhpur of Rajasthan. In 1995, 446 people, they died in school, basically children died in school when a fire broke out. So as I told you, largely it is due to the rumors, it is due to some mishap, or it is due to a movement of crowd due to certain regions in a particular direction that results in the loss of life in this particular situation. Now, as far as the legal provisions against stampede is concerned, we have a disaster management act that was passed in year 2005 that governs overall the stampede like situation. Police Act 1861 is also under which action can be taken against the perpetrator, especially if some rumor mongers has created a stampede like situation. State specific Mela and Cinema Act is also used by respective state government to control the crowd as such. Now, if we talk about the crowd management, as we know that in any cases where you have the gathering of more than anticipated number of people, or there is a expectation that a lot of people will come, as it was in this case because RCB has won IPL trophy after such a long duration, there should be a proper focus on crowd management, and there should be a proper involvement of all the stakeholders, whether it is the state police department, whether it is the government officials, whether it is the organizations, whether it is the stadium management in this case. So it seems that in many cases where a stampede has taken place either in India or even outside of India, there is no clear-cut crowd management plan which was followed by the given authority as such. The rising population and urbanization also is something that we see a trend emerging across the entire world, and this also in future will increase the instances of stampede if we do not focus and give appropriate attention to the crowd management as such. Greater tolerance for high density crowd is also something you can understand. For example, today we live in such a crowded condition, we live among so many people that for us crowd seems like a natural way of living, and that is why many people do not think that there can be risk by being a part of crowd or by walking within the crowd, because a stampede is something that do not happen very frequently, and that creates a kind of what you can call as this lack of awareness in the people that what kind of risk they are facing if they are moving in a large crowd, and especially in those cases where movement in crowd is what you can call as avoidable, or it is something that is voluntary in nature. So basically there need to be a proper focus on ensuring governance and also ensuring the accountability of a stakeholder. In any cases of a stampede, there should be proper investigation, and those who are responsible for such situation should be brought to task, should be punished, and that should act as lesson for the other officials and other responsible stakeholders as well. So this is how we can try to control and manage the crowd. Now, as we know that out of all the disasters that we face across the world, the man-made disasters are also few, and crowd mismanagement and stampede is one of the such examples. So since man-made disaster is something that is within the control of humans, there is a very high chance that such tragedies can be prevented if we focus on the proper steps such as proactive planning and execution of the planning. Central repository of incidents should be created so that we can learn from the previous incident and ensure that the mistakes that we have done in the past is not repeated again as such. Similarly, public address system should be properly installed in those places where there is expectation of crowd gathering, whether it is the organization of fair, whether it is a railway station, because many times on the platforms also you have a stampede like situation in the in and around major shrines and temples. So this public address system can be used to pacify the crowd, to remove any chances of rumors, and also to ensure that people are timely informed about the latest development. For example, in this case, as we discussed, many people were not aware that Victory Parade has been cancelled. If people knew about this, maybe they would not have moved toward the this stadium or toward the basically the Vidhan Sabha and all these areas. So basically, we have to ensure that also if we cannot prevent people from coming to celebrate something in such a large number, at least we should institute National Disaster Management Authority, that is NDMA, which is Institute of India, which has published a guideline on the crowd management. So every time there is a possibility of formation of crowd, such guidelines should be put into place by the local authorities and the police officials as such. In last, what we can say that in many cases, as we have discussed, a rumor, a false information or a lack of information can create a stampede, and that is why there is a very famous saying that goes like a rumor can kill thousands than a bullet can. And also, while managing crowd, one principle and one dictum that authorities have to strictly follow is a very well known principle that we have called as Murphy's principle or Murphy's law. It is also called as that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So when managing crowd, when planning about crowd, this is the principle that authorities should take into consideration, and they should have all proper mechanism in place to ensure that things do not go wrong, things do not go as what you can call as in unplanned or unplanned manner as such. So that is what we have to understand in this particular situation. I hope we'll learn and listen from the particular incidents and ensure that our mistakes is not repeated in the future as such, and we can save a lot of precious lives. That is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share the flow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.